Alrighty, good morning, good morning. We are here. I am still alive and kicking. um, Feeling a bit of pain, but overall I feel better than I did yesterday, way, way better. Yesterday I woke up, I couldn't even move my head, my neck was so stiff, it hurt so bad, and still hurting a little bit, but not as much. I don't know, I guess it was something to do with the way I was sleeping, because with the dizziness usually happening when I lay down, I kind of, I guess, unconsciously or consciously maybe try to sleep really still, and that's not normal for me. So I guess it kind of gave me a really bad crick. But anyway, we're here and we are ready to roll. Before we get started, though, I just want to cover a few things. Um, we do have our usual realm maintenance coming up. It's supposed to land at 4 a.m. PST. That's 1 p.m. CET time. I actually forgot to check how long it was supposed to last. It looks like ETA is 3 hours, so it's a little bit lengthy. So if you got some play stuff you want to get in before then, feel free to just skip the live show of this and check it out on YouTube later, because we do upload every broadcast that we have, so you can always catch up on it at another time, like after the maintenance is landed. Also, for those of you that have been participating in the PTR that is currently giving access to the updated that is supposedly coming sometime next month, there has been an updated post or a new post from, well, I think it originally came from Conguero, but Pappy repeated it. So you can find it both in the PTR game update section and the PTR general discussion. It just gives everyone a rundown of what things, I guess, that they have changed, their goals, and looking forward into the next part of the PTR. I guess they're going in phases, so they're already talking about phase 3 and everything. So, but they wanted to let people know that they are, while they're not being very vocal in the PTR discussions, they are reading and they are using that feedback that players are providing to move forward in any changes or alterations that they need to make. So for those of you that have been passionately expressing yourselves, they're asking, to just continue to be patient with them, as far as, maybe they're not reaching out every day uh, into the forums, but they are aware of what's going on. So just a heads up on that. As well, we have a new entry on the resources section of my Twitch channel page. It's called the Protostar Real Estate Tumblr. Apparently, I wasn't aware that this was out until I saw a tweet from someone else. But apparently, they have already started featuring some plots. They're offering in the future tips and tricks and how-tos. What kind of how-tos, I'm not sure. Maybe it's, how to use KBT, maybe it's how to build a certain structure, how to do spiral staircases. That seems to be a popular question for a lot of folks. And then they have a resources section. So if you are into Tumblr, I don't have a Tumblr account, but if you're into it or just want to bookmark it for future reference, we've had some housing type websites started here and there, and it's always good to see them, but it's frustrating when they get to a certain point and then they kind of stop, because I think a lot of people don't realize the amount of time that it takes to go in to keeping things updated and constantly giving new information, and keeping it regular to keep their readers or viewers engaged. So fingers crossed that this one sticks around longer than the others in the past, and continues to be updated and expanded upon. Um, so yeah, I think the latest plot that was showcased was one from Spousal Unit Finch, or Fitch, I think. Cyrinda's plot on NA side. It appears that they are an NA player, whoever's running the site. I'm not really sure who it is. I didn't notice any kind of like name specific, but it appears that the plots that they've been previewing or spotlighting or whatever are NA related. So just keep that in mind. But the way after a very quick glimpse at the setup of the page, it looks like there's uh, room for people to submit suggestions, even if it's not their plot, or to actually submit their own, that kind of stuff. So just a few things for you guys to be aware of. Again, maintenance at 4 a.m. EST, 1 p.m. CET. Then we've got the update on the PTR from the Carbine team. And then, of course, the Protostar Real Estate Tumblr page, which I do have linked now in the resources page. And good morning, Bones and Poi, and anyone else that happens to be lurking around. This is, of course, our tour day, and this week is Entity's turn, NA. So we're going to be taking a look at some plots on the other side of the pond from our usual routine. We got 3 homes for you today, and one of them we're going to start out on, I think it's Aeronox Catechus. That's the name of the plot owner, and the plot name is Dial M for Medicine. I expected like a medical lab or something when I saw the name, but you can see it's clearly decked out for the holidays. This is one of those plots, I believe, that was entered into the housing competition from Black Dagger Society. So you can see that they managed to set up flooring over the teleport pad, and I believe it is a hover park piece. I forget which name of it. I don't know if it was edge pieces or one of the corner things, but I know I saw in the thread in the housing forum a discussion about covering the teleport pad, and someone did mention hover park pieces, so you might be able to find the exact name there. But clearly it works really nice, makes it look like a little bit of a little raised platform other than the usual platform. It looks nice and neat, and they've managed to box it in well with all of the hedges and some of the new Dominion walls that you can get from the cash shop decor packs. Obviously, you can see a lot of Winterfest influence, a lot of gift bags. They've even used the fireplace and hanging lights and wreaths and signs and everything else. So it's got a very holiday feel to it. This is what the entrance looks like from the other side. You can see they boxed it in with obsidian stones. All right, Bones. Thanks for letting us know. I don't know how to work it on the mobile. I mean, are you talking on your phone or on like a tablet or something? I don't know. I think it would be hard to do it on a phone. I don't know. My tablet is too wimpy though. It barely can handle the Simpsons game anymore. It crashes on me all the time, so I don't think it can handle videos. Usually, if I'm trying to load a site, if it's too many pictures on it, it just goes, eh. I'm just gonna stop you right there, and we're gonna go do something else, and it just closes the application. I guess I need an updated iPad or something. So right away, you can see how they've again, are using a lot of the new Dominion decor here. And then for the path, I'm honestly not sure what's being used for the roadway. It kind of reminds me of the graded floor panels, but it might be something else, just the bottom of it that they're using. It could be the bottoms of these new walls. It could be maybe even the I'm not sure what the name of it is, but it just looks different than the graded floor panels to me. It could be that, but this looks really pixelated here, so I assume it's something smaller that's been enlarged quite a bit. I have no idea what it is. But it kind of reminds you of, or it reminds me of Ilium, uh, just the way it's set up. You got all of the little ports here and some of the farm bits there, and then it looks like the edge of the town here, that kind of thing. You can see they've really gotten use of the hedges everywhere, snow-covered stones, snow clumps here and there. They've taken off the clutter from the ground to kind of help hide places where they've used some of the raised protostar insta-hills. We've mentioned that before, that if you have your clutter turned on for your natural ground, that your proto insta-hills will be more visible because the clutter doesn't carry over to them. But this is one way to kind of make it blend in a little better. And if you want to add some grasses and such, you can do that yourself. But you can see they've left it pretty simplified, just little spots of greenery here and there. It makes it look like a nice trimmed little city area. Here, they've got a nice little raised, I don't know what you call it, dais of some sort. You see the golden arrows for the trimming, and it looks like some of the new, I think it's the street curb stuff, or it could be the, yeah, I think it's the street curb stuff from the cash shop, with like exile walls for some of this red. So they've got that boxed all in nicely. And then just topped it with one of the Winterfest tree shelves. A nice little centerpiece. You know, typically in a city like this, you might see a statue of some sort, but this works really well around the nice holiday season. Over here, they, of course, they have the platforms for the aircraft that they have. This is where people would come and go. Over here, they have a nice little, wheat field, wheat garden, grass garden kind of thing. Camera keeps popping back and forth. You can see it's just uh, the wheatgrass, but they got two different types. One looks a little older because it's a little higher, and this looks a little bit more freshly grown. They are using the copper gate. It doesn't function, it doesn't open like other gates and doors that we have, unfortunately, but it does look nice. It looks like it fits really well with this. Then we have another little garden section with pumpkins and other gourds. See how the uniformity between the two, it doesn't make it, could have made it like two smaller squares, but it kind of goes better when it's matching a little better like that. And then of course they've got these, I think it's orchard cypresses type of trees with the fruits on them, and they've got the ladder to kind of represent that it's an orchard that they collect the fruits off of the trees. Now we've kind of seen this winter treatment to the roofs before using the frozen lakes, or frozen water, I think it's called, to make it look like it's covered with snow, and then lots of those, I think it's called frozen ledges for the icicles and the snow bits here, and then just plain icicles along the front. But isn't this a lovely little barn thing? Using the new Osun chain, and then the smaller chains in combination with the chua netting, make it look like a little bit of a crane type of deal, lifting up the fruits that they collected off of the trees in the orchard. The little fan for ventilation, I guess. It's a combination of, it looks like pillars, the Osun graded floor panel that you can get from Arterra, and then the windmill decor. I want to say that comes off of World Bosses. I'm not for positive. Like the doors, it's just a simple little thing. They don't even have latches on them. It's just staircase landings, but that's just always a perfect little use for that. Notice the construction of the barn itself. It looks like the roof is made out of metal planks and exile floors. Then you've got exile walls, and then 2x4s for this part here, for the triangle part. Over here we have a little bit of different kinds of rocks. Some at the front were mostly the obsidian, and you can see it kind of borders around the edges, all of the obsidian. But here we have the sandstone. That kind of frames up the frozen river that's running along the edge here. You can see that they're using again, the frozen water to represent the waterway that is now frozen. I've seen some people go ahead and add actual moving water just underneath so that the holes that are in the frozen water decor actually has a little bit of movement to kind of indicate that it's not fully frozen. But this one, they just left it solid. But you can see how it just looks like a natural little waterway, just how they've bordered it up with sandstone. Right now, it's just in the jaw that's really killing me. It was stabbing in the ear earlier, and now it's just through the jaw. I guess the nervy bit has moved down. Okay, here's a little bit of a graveyard. I like the way they did these. It makes it look nice and neat. They've got the headstones, but they also have, I don't know if it's like a plaque kind of thing, but it's like, I've seen some people use some of the portraits to kind of represent pictures of the people that are inside, like as in memoriam type of things. These are actually pictures too. It's like there's several of them. It's like the luminary or the one of the soldier type things. Um, they've just covered it up with, it looks like stone. I suspect it's one of the new pieces from the Dominion decor pack from the shop, because I can't see where it's split between the two. Can't see a seam, so it looks like one solid piece, but I can't think of any rock that would be that smooth around and straight. So I imagine it's some kind of a block from that. But I honestly don't know. And of course, they topped it with the Dominion emblems, and then a few of them have other accents like the flowers, the candles, and that kind of thing. Of course, this little flower bed, it looks like, I don't know if it's that the Draken one. It doesn't look marbly like it usually does, unless they've got it really oversized. But flowers, of course, are the ones from spring decor pack that you can get from the cash shop, and then they've highlighted with the orange sconces, so it makes it a little brighter. This otherwise maybe sad little area. There's another little frozen body of water. What a lovely little gazebo. Again, they're using a lot of materials that they've gotten from the cash shop. These are the white picket fences and fence posts and ivy bits from the spring decor pack. We do have picket fences that you can craft, but they're not as straight and neat as the ones that come from the shop. So you could probably set up something similar, but it might not have these clean lines that you see here. But it looks like the roof is pillars here, and then fences and gradiated sizings to get the edges, and then one fence up at the top, accented with the different ivy, and then they even have fences in some of the trim here, and they've got it all along for the railing and the base of the seating as well. I could imagine somebody setting up like a little wedding scene here, um, having a little guild gathering, that kind of thing. It's a very cute little gazebo. I mean, we've seen lots of styles of gazebos, but it's always fun to check out some new ideas. The walkway itself and the base of the gazebo is appears to be just decking pieces. There we go. Like I go blank when I'm trying to describe something. I just suddenly blank out as to the name of the items. Yeah, it is very cute. So again, I like that they have the little pathway. It kind of helps guide you around the place. Again, a lot of this is from those new, I think it's the street curb and the Dominion. Let me just look it up. Housing, yeah, this the street curb sampler pack, I think, is where they're getting a lot of these edgings. And then the Dominions builder kit comes with a lot of the walls that you're seeing here, a lot of the ramps, um, and the stairs and such. So you can see they've really uh, taken advantage of having this new decor available. Makes it look nice and neat, especially if you're going for a particularly strong Dominion flavor. These are great for that. So again, here's another little platform for some aircraft landing. A little bit of a practice area. This is one of those Dominion crates. There's an Exile version too. A lot of people like using these for refrigerators, cabinet spaces. We've seen them used as pantries, that kind of thing. They're also taking advantage of a lot of the talking NPCs. So when you go around the plot, I don't have my sound on, so I'm not really hearing it, but it makes it feel a little bit more active and alive because there's actually things talking to you. But look at the detail, just all the little plants that they put in the trim. And it just reminds me of Ilium. Not that I visit there that much. I don't really play Dominion side too terribly often, but it's still nice. Now I see that they've got the mailboxes throughout a couple places. I suspect they're using the skinny waste barrel as like a trash can. Just going to go up to this one real quick. Looks like this one's been packed up. Gifts. There's a little food stall. One by a very chatty Lop. And that brings us to the main house. And it's very nice and neat and trimmed, taking advantage again of the hedges and the topiaries that you get with it. Notice the hedges are down here too, just to make it look like it's a little grass patch. Decking pieces mostly for this, trimmed with those street curb bits, like this little hedge here, like a trimmed topiary that's in a pot. Frozen fountain. Now, everybody likes to use the waterfalls and such on the fountains to make it look like it's active, but during winter, often a lot of them will become frozen. So there's the frozen water, but then the rest is like icicles. You probably could have tried to do the frozen water along here too, but I imagine just because of the shape of those, and the shape of the little balls here, it might have been a little trickier to fit properly. Now this water is actually active. So you imagine that it's heated, like a heated pool for winter. Um, but you can see how it's got some animation. So this isn't your traditional just regular water or layered glass or anything like that. It's actually the base of one of the new waterfalls. Folks have really figured out how to use that cleverly to make it look like a nice bit of water moving around. So this is a fantastic looking swimming pool. They've got it slanted, so there's a shallower end and then a deep end. They've got uh, one of the exile lights, I think, um, brighten it up. Got the drain. This is one of the lights from the Space Chase, I think, one of the vents. And then, of course, using granite walls that appears to line the pool and to make the staircase here really, really good. Over here, you have the little, this is the sauna or the jacuzzi kind of thing. Again, similar setup, but just boxed in a little differently. Basically has like, instead of stairs, it's like a whole little bench type of scene. Or some of the foodstuffs like the Barbie that comes from the summer decor pack along with the cooler and the little drinks with the umbrellas on it. It's nice that they've been adding more food types of stuff. It gives some variety for us. The lounge chairs appear to be, it looks like 2x4s, mostly for the base, and then the folded and rolled beach towels from the summer decor pack for the covering padding. Very cute, very simple, and of course, some of those new, um, it's not Tetris, what is it called here? I forget what they called it, but those new Tetris-like blocks are using as the little dance floor here. I don't know what the black part is. I suspect it's the top. I mean, it could be the top of one of the pillars, but it looks really shiny, so I'm not really sure about that. But a nice use of the blocks if you happen to get a hold of any. Not too overpowering in its colorings and stuff. You can see that these lounge chairs are using the other kind. I think this is the blue striped one, and this is the seaweed version. I was just trying to moving seaweed version. So it was a way of getting a little bit of summer um, into a winter type of plot. I like the idea of being able to combine the two seasons. For the little tiki bar here for the drinks, it's just the tiki bar, a dome, and then the tiki roof. And of course, they thought to, put a little bit of snow on there. Retris, that's it. I knew it was like a play on the word Tetris, but I couldn't think of it. Yeah, I especially like the lounge chairs. They're simple, anybody could put them together if they just, it's just a couple of in the back, one on the bottoms, two on the sides. It's a very nice, neat little design. And of course, it does have a diving board. Whoops, I just kind of jumped right off of there. That is made out of, it looks like travel posters. Nice and clean, not bouncy bouncy, of course, but still nice. It looks like just orange floors and triangles for the base of it. Looks really sleek. Okay, Trying to see if we hit everything outside. And do a real quick run around just to make sure I miss anything before we go into the main house. You're wondering about this tree. I think that's one of the massive umbrella trees. Everybody tends to use that while it's upside down, so not one of the more easily recognizable for many. They're like, where did that tree come from? Because nobody hardly ever used it otherwise. I like how they're using these mossy overgrowths as like trimmed grass almost itself. But here's a good overview of the city. You can see the whole river on this side, the main boarding station over here, graveyard down here. Over there's the swimming pool. There's the entrance here. It's all very nicely laid out. Every section has its purpose. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Off to the main house. Now you can see they did dress it up a bit with a little bit of snow, some icicles as well. Those are just little touches that a lot of people might not think about adding, but it adds to the ambience of it being in a winter scene. Tack that on there. So inside, you can see it's very flashy looking. It looks very like it's owned by a higher up. Very nice. So we have the fireplace, which appears to be some of that new curb decor. At least that's what it reminds me of, but it looks like that's what's being used to frame it. They're using one of the new fences there for the gray little grill. Over here you have a little cabinet. Now this looks like the bottoms of Cassian walls. They just layered it up. It could be something totally different. As we're getting into more and more of the cash shop decor that I typically don't partake in, there could be a lot of things coming up that I just can't identify because I simply don't use it myself. That's what it looks like. It reminds me of the bottom edge of the casting floor. So they've got like, this is one floor and then they've inset another one. So it doubles it up like that. These little edgings here, this looks like the Dominion shelf, I suspect maybe upside down so that the pointed part is down underneath and then you see shelving here. I could be mistaken though. That's the only way I can think of getting this bluish color. And then of course it looks like they might have inset glass in there as well. For the table, it looks like, oh gosh, I have no idea. It looks like golden arrows for the edges. And again, some of that, I assume it's got to be some of that new decor because that blue coloring, that doesn't look familiar to me. Not quite the blue of the folded shirt. It's a little darker than that. I'm not sure. Very nice, lovely piece though. It goes well with the leather couches. Yeah, I thought about that too, but I want to say I honestly don't know. Let me see. I wonder if we can find that in the housing part. I don't remember seeing any blue in any of these. but it could be something, maybe it's on the bottom side that it's blue. Seem to be there. And I'm pretty sure all of the blocks are just gray stone. I don't think any of the tracks had it. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's got to be the bottom of something, but see, like if they've got the blue here, that's why I suspected maybe it was one of the pre-built shelves, because this looks pretty flat to be able to use it as an actual shelf space. So I'm not really sure what's being used. But you can see how like they've done the floor the same way. They've trimmed it in that black bit and then laid in like a exile wall to make this red carpet area. Over here we have another wine rack example. Lots of 2x4s carefully lined up to make this nice little lattice pattern. And then just love this little kitchen area. I believe it's one big, I suspect it's the upside down gear trophy for the floor, and then the black pieces are pillars or something along those lines to make the black squares. Same way with the cabinets. I believe those are uh, the bottom side of the gear trophies. This is kind of like an off-white sort of. And then it looks like the uh, the handles. What it reminds me of is the handle on this right here, the firewood basket. It looks like that. The refrigerator appears to be mostly travel posters. Same way with a lot of the trim of this cabinet area here, and even the backings of this. Um, then you've got pillars for the handles on the fridge and freezer. I like how the freezer, they've layered up the glass just a little bit more to make it look frosted. They've got a little tray of cubes for like an ice cube tray. Basically, it looks like oren floors, and then they've got buckets, and then the ice inside the buckets. You see a little bit of color shifting going on, which might also kind of disguise some items for me now, because with the color shifting, a lot of things considerably look different than what you're expecting. So I figure that's going to throw me on a lot of new things as well. So you have a couple of shelves, and then this one is more like a tray kind of thing. So you got some fruits, um, the air conditioners for the vents in the back, and then of course using that frozen water again to help sell the idea that this is the freezer section up here. The double sink is just two of the bathroom sinks side by side. The wood, I suspect, is just 2x4s that have been maybe color shifted a little bit more red. At least that's what it looks like to me. I honestly can't say for certain, but I think that's what it is. It's just like you have the Cassian walls. I don't think they have two different colors of Cassian walls for the actual rooms. So what I suspect is this is the standard one that comes with the remodel options of the interior. And then they took some actual Cassian walls that has that same pattern and color shifted it to a black or a black and white version of it to make the pattern for the kitchen area. Same way with this. This is usually a copper color, I believe, and it looks like they've color shifted it to a black and white as well. Then I suspect these drawers here is basically one uh, gear trophy for the white part. Although it looks pretty big, I would suspect that would be sticking out. So maybe it's something else. I have no idea. Um, then trimmed with either edges of walls or something, edges of posters, and then those same handles. Here you've got the knife block. Looks like, again, they're doing a lot of color shifting to change up things. It looks like a couple of 2x4s, just the ends of them sunk down, um, encased in travel posters to gray it up. So it looks like a little bit of wood. And then even the knives themselves have been color shifted a little bit. Then you've got what appears to be what is that, a cappuccino machine? I don't know. Is that supposed to? I've never really seen a cappuccino machine up close, so I'm guessing that this is like the milk to produce the foamy stuff. But I see looks like an ergonomics keyboard that's been color shifted. Travel posters. I see the spaceship window. Got your teacup. This is the standing pipe from the Palavar Point Daily. Looks like this is supposed to be water, so it's several unframed glasses set up back there. This little part that the cup is sitting on, that's one of the graded floor panels. I'm not sure what this is. I don't know if it's one of the detonators, just like the back side of it, or what. The shelving here, several layers of unframed glass to give it a little brightness. You see, it's like, look, 3 layers there. Toaster is Dominion screens on the sides, and then blocked in with the graded floor panels, it looks like. It's a really nice little toaster. Because the way you block them in, it has that little gap there. Yeah, this one's pretty complex and unique compared to some of the other coffee machines, but I don't drink coffee. I don't think any of us in the family do, so my in-laws do, but they have just a regular little, it sounds like somebody's gargling. Oversized Chua cup, which again looks to be color shifted for the utensil holder. And then it looks like the bottoms of some kind of a barrel or container for these raised little bits to cover up the glowy stove bits that are normally there. A really nice example of how the color shifting can change the look of things, help things blend in better with each other. You know, I imagine if you had left a lot of these pieces unshifted, it would stand out a little bit more, because I mean, like, this would be like wood rather than the dark gray. And of course, they've got some of the new, what do you call it? Gingerbread stuff. Make a little house. Again, I have no idea what they're using for all of this. It looks like travel posters, just the edges, and then one of those gear trophies. Hi, Faye. Good morning. Yeah, really a lovely little kitchen. Again, just an example of how color shifting the walls even helps make that particular space own little nook there. I like the way they did that, the idea behind it. I mean, they not only changed the way the floor looks in comparison to the rest of the room, but just the wall, the whole theme of it going black and white with just a little touch of red. Even the dining table has had some nice little treatment. It looks like 2x4s, and then they laid on some glass, kind of give it a little bit fancier look, and then had that little 2x4 runner. Looks like they color shifted the candles as well. color shifted the silverware to make it gold plated. Like I said, it has that very ritzy, expensive, like highfalutin kind of theme to it. This is NA today, and good morning to you. I'm Irisis. I think that's how I supposed to say. I think this has been color shifted as well. I'm pretty sure the frame is a lighter color. Now the staircase looks to be 2x4s again that have been color shifted to that kind of black and white. Looks like they've even done it here a little bit. This as well, I think, has been color shifted to a black and white. The exotic cabinet. This appears to be the bedroom. You can see they did some color shifting on the pillows. And then again, it's kind of a similar cabinet as downstairs, but this time they're using it for all of their books. Looks like they might have even done some color shifting on the books, get a little bit more variety. These two, I think these are typically orange and they look a little bit more red. Well, same way here. We've color shifted this to look like a jade statue instead of the blue. Here's a little laptop thing going on. It's just a couple of travel posters, the standing screen, and then the ergonomics keyboard on there. Here's the bathroom. And one of my favorite deals, the toilet. I believe this is the back of the Marauder emblem, the sigil, I think is what it's called. The metal sigil or metallic sigil, one of those. And this is the back of it. It's got that nice coppery textured uh, background on it. Um, the rest is like domes, cylinders. Looks like some more travel posters for framing here, and then the top of one of the bottles. For the toilet paper dispenser, it's just some Chua pillars, it looks like, for that. Travel posters and framed glass and such for uh, the sink, the double sink. And again, some color shifting on the bottles. That color shifting is really helping folks to kind of get away from using the same orange bottles, the same blue files. It gives us a little opportunity to jazz it up a little bit differently. But again, it's going to make it hard for me to identify things because you don't typically see them in those colors. Um, like here you have the Chua cups being used as the handles for the water controls, but they've also added in, it looks like either file bottoms or bottle tops and color shifted in blue and red to indicate the hot and cold. And they've got, what is that? Is that a golden skull? No. Ah, this appears to be a color shifted one of the frozen ledges, a smaller one, to make it look like a little bit of a maybe a loofah sponge or something. Yes, they have. They have quite a bit in here. The shower itself appears to be that not hover, holographic projector, the long one, and then a couple of the new Marauder lights. Again, the towel rack is simply just a Chua pillar with the towels hanging on them. Someone getting a little medical attention here. Have the attic. Again, attics, collection shelves, cellars for storage, a great opportunity to display things that you maybe otherwise would be able to show off, but you still want to have a chance to do that. And it looks like they're using their attic storage for their plushie display. So you can see lots of different plushies and animal collectibles throughout. Just gives you that excuse. The same way with like the head trophies. A lot of us don't use those as an actual head trophy. The storage places or small collections like miniatures on a shelf is a great way of sneaking those in. And we have a little bit of a lab thing. Wow, actually something inside it. Really nicely done. The layout is interesting. Again, every time we come into these makeshift, I mean, these prefab buildings, I always am fascinated with how they divvy it up um, and not get stuck in places. Color shifted backpack there. Notice they added flowers to the little vase on the table. Using this. This almost reminds me of like a little clock, but I guess it's just a standing portrait thing rather than hanging it on the wall. Really nice layout. A lot of interesting use of the color shifting. Again, we're going to see more and more of that as people get used to using it. Or save up to be able to afford it if they don't have the service tokens to use, or um, it's 10 gold, I think, per item if you want to just use in-game uh, funding. Uh, but it's not like um, I think for those that already have a plot done and they go, oh, I'd like to have my house like, so maybe they have a custom house that's made out of um, orange walls and they want to turn it into a pink house. Trying to tally up all those items, it's going to hurt in the pocket. But I think if people just start using it as they're building on new things, they might not feel it so much. It's kind of like me. I don't really keep track of how much I spend as I'm building. It's only afterward if I like go to share a set with someone and I'm like, wow, I spent like 2 plat on that thing and I didn't even realize it. I think it would be easier for that kind of thing to sneak up on you if you're not going, well, I have 50 pieces I want to color shift, and that's a lot of gold to cough up in one lump sum. It's a little easier to take if you're just kind of dishing it out a little bit at a time. Yeah, it's a really nice little setup here. I think we've gotten it all. I hope so. Um, I know the owner is here on the plot if anyone has a specific question before we go on to the next one. But a lot of great ideas. Again, it's a way of combining different things. I mean, just because you have a winter plot doesn't mean you can't have a swimming pool. Clearly, they made that possible. Um, or sometimes it's fun to have a build that you would typically expect in a certain season and then switch it and turn it into something for an alternate season. That's always interesting too. And now with the different versions of, say, the hedges, you have the green version for springtime, you have the brown versions for autumn, you have or I should say the green versions for maybe like summer. And then you have the blue versions, blue and white versions for the winter. Um, Now, if you have it set up, if you're willing to spend it and get a hold of it, you could actually develop a changing out set. So every time the season changes, you can just switch it out to the new version so that it matches. I think that would be a fun way to do it. It's not for me because I don't want to go through the whole copying up everything on the shop, but I like the idea behind it. Someone could do that. Me, I tend to just do small little bits, like, putting up a tree or some garland for uh, Winterfest holiday, or putting up some uh, spring garden, or changing out paintings or something to be relevant to the season. Keep it small and simple for me, but I can imagine somebody doing a full plot and just changing it out to match the trees and the grasses and things for the season. Okay, it doesn't look like anyone has any questions for the owner, so we will be moving on to our next plot. This is a plot by Aurora Stormfall called the Super Sky Mall of Nexus. Now, I think this one is another one that was entered into the Black Dagger Society bit, but I'm not for positive. But I like the idea. I have them all myself, so I thought it was fun to come and see how someone else approached it. I think theirs is a lot more complex than mine, so I'm a little bit on the jealous side. And of course, they have a lot of interesting ideas, so I thought we would come to visit here. Again, you're going to see a lot of use of the color shifting. You can see that on the holiday tree that they have in the center. They've got files for the decorations, and they've color shifted it a lot to make it look more colorful. Um, got, again, use of the hedges. These have been color shifted. Some of those are the exonite plants, I think. Trying to get you an overview of the entrance here. It's a little hard to see because the tree's so big. Looks a little bit of exonite stuff and then just some regular bushes smushed together to make the tree. I don't think it's an actual standard pine tree being used. Like here, I'm not quite sure what's being used for this animation. That's like the sparking. I couldn't say for sure. These doors here, those are just the metal dividers. A lot of people like them, especially for Asian themes. It seems to remind folks of like the rice paper walls or something. You've got the uh, space taco stands for the little vendors here. And I don't know what path I should be taking, so I'm just going to be going around here. So this appears to be the food court. You've got a lot of tables for people to grab their food and eat it. You can see they've done some nice layering of the framed glass to make up some pretty designs for entrance and exits to this area. And then you can see that each food vendor has their own little logo type of thing. So you get sandwiches here. It looks like some chicken here, fruits, tacos. I imagine this is to represent pizza, although it could just be cheese, and then maybe this is some seafood type of stuff. Very simple. Each one has its own little look. There's different types of decoration for each booth here, and then some are manned by bots, some are manned by LOP. And then you've got the little proto vendor here for another little bit of goodies. Again, with a really expansive build like this, it's really hard to add as much detail as a builder probably would love to do. I'm sure they would have loved to have been able to expand this even more. But considering what all they managed to squeeze into this plot, really is astounding. I think this is supposed to be like maybe an ATM kind of thing. It's basically the giant sized, I think it's a Winterfest emblem is what it's called. The one that on the bottom, it's got like the really red little mark. It kind of looks like this. A bridge monitor, I think, and then some metal planks with the ergonomics keyboard there. We'll be coming back to this. This is the bunker house here. Actually, we'll just go ahead and go in here. Again, these are some of those Retros blocks, and then this here is the Eldon screen from the decor pack from the shop that has multiple different kinds of screens. It's unfortunate that you get like just a few or like one of each, and so if you want multiples of one particular color, you got to buy multiples of the decor pack, but that is how it is. So this is the bunker house entrance here. It's been overlaid with, looks like glass. There's the protostar thing. I think the thing that's giving it that animation, I think that's the bottom of the holographic projector, the round one, not the long one like used in the shower. And then it's been trimmed with the braided floor panels, almost like a flower pattern. So if you go on top of it, then the little open door pops in, and this brings us to the game room, clearly denoted by the massively bright and colorful walls and flooring. I don't know the exact names of these from that whole arcade frenzy that we had, where we had some arcade games and blocks and all of these retro types of decorations. So they've got this set up like a little Dance Dance Revolution game. So it would have the panel like it does in Fade. They've got the golden arrows on some of the Retros blocks or direction markings, and then on top of the graded floor panels, and then these little roped shelves or something for the backing. Okay, over here we have the bowling alley. Saw a couple of bowling alleys not too long ago, so this is another version. Again, they're using the color shifting to kind of change it up a little bit. So you got this the bridge monitors. They're typically a bright blue, and this one's been shifted to pink, and then you got the green over here. Same way with the sporty spheres, they've color shifted a few of them. Metal planks for the track for the ball, and then hover part pieces and a dome for this part. Unframed colored glass, there's green and red for each lane, and then files for the pins. Got some scoreboards, and it looks like rockets being used for the bases of those. Yeah, is that what that is? The carpet, arcade carpet? It almost looks like lighting, the neon light, not the neon, the fluorescent lighting, but it's like in pink. Oh yeah, I can see a little bit of a gap there. Good catch. So here, I guess, is the prize booth where presumably you get tickets. I mean, you've gone into those arcade halls where each game rewards so many tickets depending on how well you do at the game, and then you cash in your tickets to get these little prizes. And my mouse is trying to mess up again. So they've got this little display case. It looks like just some Oran walls for the base, and then framed glass for the top part. And then they've got different little items. Again, this is a fun way of displaying certain things that maybe you wouldn't put anywhere else. So they've got plushies hanging in the back. And then here they've got a variety of different items, including folded beach towels and a clock like that. Here we have the snack shop, which they're using the I think it's either the exonite tree, the one that's kind of golden, to make it look like I think it's supposed to be like popcorn. And then they're using triangles, and just think about how many triangles I had to put in there to make it look like nacho chips, and then using the bubbling skeet or witch's brew cauldron for the nacho cheese. Because I think this is supposed to be popcorn because typically I think the poppers have like uh, they fill the kernels here with the butter and the oil, and then it cooks, and then as it pops, it just overflows out into the bottom of the little container. Here, I suspect they would be putting, I would say, if you want to do like candy bars or like different kinds of candies, I would use different kinds of travel posters for that, make it look like little candies. And then here, I suspect is possibly cotton candy, maybe. Not really sure what that might be. Um, just like I'm not sure what the tops of these rockets are meant to represent. But you can see how they've got you want like small, medium, large, extra large, and mega large size of drinks. Over here they have the drink machine. So they're using the beer taps. There's two of them here. And then using the different, they've got like the Soul Frost tanks. They've also got some of the Eldon canisters to give like different kinds of drinks. So this might be a cherry drink, and this is a lime one, and this is like grape or something along those lines. Kind of a fun idea. So then you got all of these benches. They're using the same item, the oh, what's it called? And I'm just drawing a blank on the name. The table that you get from, I think it's Far Side. Um, they're using it as both the table and the benches. They just lowered one into the floor to make it a little shorter. It looks like they've color shifted a few of them. It looks a little weird color shifted actually. They've got them in all shades here. The name is just escaping me. I know it's like on the tip of my tongue. Blue light lounge table. That's what it is. Man, I knew I had it and I just couldn't get it out. Again, retros blocks to kind of fill in for the staircase here. And then upstairs is another section of the gaming hall. This is where they have all of the, like this one, I have no idea what it's supposed to be. It looks like a little LabWorks thing, but maybe it's some kind of a retros game itself or targeting thing or whatever. But they've got like the Ichthian tank as the base. Then they've got the, I don't know, it's called the Video 5000 or something, and then one of the arcade chairs slapped on there. Then over here you have presumably something to do with marauders or a ship. Maybe it's some kind of a battleship kind of thing. So they've got the nautical wheels, even the nautical chair here, having one as the steering wheel. It's mostly 2x4s for some of the casing and even the seating here. And then the other is like the, I think it's the panel that comes from Arcterra. You can get it from the Soul Frost vendor. So it kind of looks like a ship or something. So maybe you maneuver a ship around or something. I don't know. These look like a race car simulation or something. They've got the garage themed lamp, so it makes it look like a steering wheel. The orange lounge chairs for the seating, and then most of the framework of the little booths are set up from the graded floor panels. Over here you have a set of crane games. So they've basically just got, looks like Oran walls for the base, got framed glass for the top, some metal planks set up as the little cross section that the crane itself would move along. The crane itself is, I believe, the Tua Tech arm. And then they're just using different things, like this is the WildStar plushies, this is a variety of plushies, and this is the beach balls and sporty spheres. The control panel for the little controller of the thing, and the little dispense thing looks like another graded floor panel with some glass, and then a hollow dome for the little dispenser tray thing. Here we have a little photo booth. I think this is a cute idea, having the little different photos on the outside to kind of give you a clue as to what it's supposed to be. So typically you'd come in, you'd sit down, and then this is the camera, and then you take your picture. I'm trying to see what this is. I have no idea what that is. Looks weird with the little spikies. Looks like part of a ship or something, but I'm not sure. But the screen itself is just a tablet computer with a ergonomic. I like the idea behind that though. Of course, here are all of the arcade machines. I think was two versions, and it looks like they might have just, can't tell if they've color shifted any of them, but same way with here, the air hockey games are come as is, and they are animated, so they just bounce around. Oops, I just walked over something. I didn't even see it. Oh, they've made their own foosball. I think that's what this is called. Using, I think it's one of those carpet pieces, 2x4s for the base. Trying to see what they're using. It looks like chains or something for the little bars across, and then hoogles for the little guys. Kind of hard to see. It's so dark. Like I said, I didn't even realize I was doing anything, and I ran over it. This cabinet here, I have no idea what it's for, but again, it looks like 2x4s and then just different colors of glass. I suspect these are supposed to be like slot machines of some kind. These appear to be pinball machines. It's using some of those arcade banners that you can get separately from the arcade machines. The Cassian candle sconces for the little flippers, and then a variety of things for the little bumpers. So you've got like Exile, I think it's the lamp, gear lamp. Some of these are the streamers. It's those long like ribbon things, and they've just got the ribbon part hidden and just the little knobby thing on the end. Travel poster, of course, for the base of it, and then they've overlapped it a little bit with the back side of the travel posters. And then some of those Exile lights. Very nice execution on that. I mean, kind of know what it is without really having to struggle. How do I go about finding house plots to check out? Usually it's me just randomly visiting. I'll spend a few hours here and there and just randomly visit plots. Sometimes I'll use the plot finder on Katya's toolkit. I'll just put in a random like 3-letter grouping, like maybe I'll BOL, and then anything that has BOL in the name or in the plot title will pop up, and I'll sometimes randomly visit that. Sometimes I just use the random visitor tool. Sometimes people actually suggest plots that they think I might like. Maybe it's a friend of theirs, a guildmate's, maybe it's their own, that kind of thing. There's a lot of ways that I go about it. Um, all right, Bones, you have a great day. Don't work too hard. All right, Kosh, I'll note that down. No promises on when I will get around to anyone's plot because, again, I keep a long running list of plots. So there's like a pretty lengthy queue, especially on Javit's side. I think last I checked, there was like 30 something plots that were actually ready for viewing, and then like something like 80 that were works in progress. So I keep track of, as I come across a plot, if I think it has potential, then I'll note it down, even if it's not finished, and then later I'll come and check and see if they finished it or made any progress. But yeah, a lot of times, like on the NA side, I've listed a lot of plots of folks that I know are avid builders. They have multiple alts, multiple plots of different types of themes. I'm not going to go, even though they're in an order, I usually write them down as when I come across them or when someone suggests them, I just add them to the back of the list. And then as we progress, but if say there's a grouping of, like, say I use the term castle in my search term, and I pull up a lot of houses that are plots that have castles on them. I'm not going to tour 5 or 6 castles in one sitting. I'm going to spread them out. So even if I maybe found all of them at the same time, I may save one or two for later because I like to kind of mix it up so that we get a lot of variety for each tour show. The only exception to that is when we do like a holiday kind of theme base, like um, last month we did winter tours for the entire month. So I was looking for winter related themes, whether it be winter fest explicitly or if it was just snowy plots of that kind of thing. But yeah, I've noted it down, Kosh. Um, and I'll take a look. Again, no promises on when it might happen. I know a lot of people would like me to contact them every time I go to visit their places, but it becomes problematic. A lot of times it's due to my hours of streaming don't really match with most people's. Um, and again, sometimes I'm just looking for a particular, if I have a bar plot and then I have a winter plot and then I have a spooky plot, if someone else comes in and says, well, I have the spooky plot too, I'm not necessarily going to show it right alongside the other one. So, oh, is it? Okay. Well, sounds interesting. I'll definitely take a look. Is it on NA or EU? Because today we're touring NA plots, but we also tour EU plots. We alternate each week between the regions. That is the plan for this year, anyway. Up until this month, we had only been visiting EU plots. But yeah, I appreciate you guys letting me know if there's plots that you think deserve a look. It's, while I rely heavily on my own, just random visiting, sometimes that doesn't work always great because sometimes the random tool, it seems to give the same names over and over and it gets a little annoying. So it's NA, all right. I'll be sure and check it out sometime soon. Okay, so here's like kind of like a whack-a-mole thing, but it looks like whack-a-chupacabra, chupacabra. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but so they got the little chupacabra. Um, it's the ones that's the mounted head, and notice how some of them are lower and some of them are higher. The mallets, of course, are the hammers, but the whole build itself is oren floors trimmed with looks like oren pillars. And then these are or in arches to make those little holes for that. It's a really cute idea. Again, using those banners for from the arcade stuff that you can get. And then the last bit, I think, is the what's it called? Skee ball. I don't see any of like the ball bits or things where you get the tickets, but I like the idea behind it. Someone could probably really go crazy with it. But they're using the either hollow domes or hollow cylinders, tubes, I guess, for the little uh, like slots. They don't have to, you don't have to necessarily make it so that it looks like it goes into an actual pocket of sorts. Um, but presumably, depending on what ring you land your ball in, that gives you a certain amount of points. Um, that kind of thing. Again, good use of the carpets for decorating on not just the floor, but the ceiling and everything. The Retros blocks, not too gaudy. I mean, obviously it's an arcade room, so um, it's going to be bright and colorful. But something you would expect at a mall. Makes you wonder why I didn't put one in mine. I ended up putting in a gallery, so I guess I'm kind of the boring side. Here apparently is what I presume is a laser tag area. I've never played laser tag, so I don't know how I guess it's like just kind of like a obstacle course where you can go and try and shoot your buddies. It looks like they got different little setups, so try and hide from your opponent. Lots of little barriers and things. Again, it reminds me of like a little obstacle course where you would go and try and shoot everybody else, your paint gun or laser gun or something. Most of this looks like hover part pieces for a lot of the tunneling. This part here looks like an oversized travel poster, and of course some Soul Frost bits, um, reinforced, not reinforces. What's that called? I can't think of the name again. This is that little planet thing. I'm not really sure what's making that funny glow. Did it always have a glow like that? Never really paid it much mind. Pressure dividers, I think that's what they're called. That was like a very lousy jump. But even the floor of this looks to be like travel poster. If you're wondering about this here, that's that new, I think it's the Dominion, large Dominion cage, or large Dominion screen, one of those. But this is where you'd pick up your little laser gun and or paint gun and go about shooting everybody. Move along to the next area. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be. I don't know if this is supposed to represent like an elevator where it would put you upstairs. You know, it's just to simulate that that's what it is. Dominion laser scanner. Thank you, Faye. And then, of course, you'd actually have to take the staircase up. But I suspect that's what this is supposed to represent as like a little type of elevator thing. Here we have a little vendor booth that they made themselves. 2x4s, like maybe some staircase landings for that base, and then hover part pieces for the little roofing, accented with some of those spring decor vines. And this appears to be the little kitty land. Looks like a little castle top here. It's just looks like Oran walls. Been used for this castle trim, little bits. For this little bit here, that's Oran coffee table, I think, or just table. So you've got all sorts of little things for the kitties, lots of plushies, The little vendor here, cover part pieces for the cabinet or whatever. Here's some little Hot Wheels for the kitties. It's basically just the cryopods with wheels and a little steering wheel stuck in. And then they've got it in a different shade for the girls. Here's a little kitty gazebo thing. It's like a little slide, like a little mini playground kind of thing. I could easily see people expanding on that, having like the rope bridges and things to hang off of. Again, a little bit of color shifting, turning some of those decking pieces and pillars and stuff yellow. There's a little dollhouse here being overshadowed by this giant. I almost suspect that maybe they had this actually smaller, because it looks like some stuff here that looks like it's smaller. And that's one trouble with some of the NPCs. You'll size it down and then it auto resizes to its natural size, and you have to constantly keep changing. That's the only problem with those. Why it's probably safer to use plushies when it's something like this, but it looks like a little, it's supposed to be like a little lop um, setting, and then like these little doll houses and such for the kitties to run. The only thing I can guess, pretty sure they didn't mean for that to be that huge. Here you have the ball pits for kitties to come and grab some pillows, balls, little tea set. Notice the snowy hills matching the ground that's underneath. It looks like maybe what is that, the Juicero ground? Not for positive on that. For this here, this looks like the bottom of one of the fountains that they're using for this little tier shelf here. Notice the beach towels for the floor, ceiling, and the rolled beach towels for the pillars here. Over here, have like the general shop. It's got a lot of different things here. It's like some clothing, dishes. So like here they've got different t-shirts with different emblems on the fronts. So they're using different items to look like t-shirts with markings. So you've got travel posters, orange landing pad, orange shelf. Got the changing rooms back here. You're wondering about these shelves. Are the Protostar, I think it's Winterfest shelves. Get a hold of any of those. Looks like 2x4s and then orange floors and cylinder or dome for this little display here. Model. Yeah, at first I didn't notice, and then when I thought, hey, that looks like the stripes on the candy, I call it the candy towels, but yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's just oversized and stuff. But yeah, it does. I mean, they've done a lot of color shifting. Even some of these look color shifted, but again, that's where it becomes problematic with the color shifting and all of the new decor, because get kind of confused as to what's what anymore. So this is that Draken, I think it's called the Draken Emporium. They're just using it as another, I don't know if it's supposed to be a little dance booth or maybe it's the information booth. I have no idea. But you do have access to the outside from here. Guess this is the little playroom for the kitties or something. So here's the little counter for the guy, and then that's where they fit in. I believe this is one of the fab kits. little snow fort. And then a little dining setup here, just using those round wooden tables that I hate so much, but they got it sunk down so it's not on those really tall legs, bulbs. And then ice rock arches for the seating. And presumably they would have something for you, I guess. I don't know if there's anything back here, but I'm checking it out. Just it's like just a little outdoor area. A lot of the Arctera formations, again, for those of you looking for alternative ways to get some snowy ground without having to use the actual ground remodel option, and then trying to use the snowy hills in place of that. The bottoms of these formations, as we've seen in the past, work really well, giving you a lot of snowy ground without having to try and replicate it. Because for me, the Winterfest, or not Winterfest, White Veil ground cover doesn't look really white. It looks more like of a gray, dirty. It looks like dirty snow is what it looks like to me. So having those Arctera formations to be able to turn them upside down and have that nice white surface is fabulous. Yeah, and lots of Orin bits, exile, even some Draken pillars for a little bit of that. So I think that's all of the downstairs. I hope. Up we go. And I believe this is supposed to be like the elevator simulation there to get you upstairs. Maybe this is the information. I don't know. So this is a medical ward. Maybe somebody has an accident in the laser game, or it's a little frostbite from the outdoor area, and this is where they come for some services. Again, staircase landings for this little bit of the wall. Public restroom, a little messy. I think they color shifted these. Kind of gross because it looks like a nasty, grimy green. And then the ladies' restroom over here, just as messy. How disappointing. You would expect them to be a little bit neater, but see how they did that. They've got the male portrait here, female portrait here to indicate. Notice the sign, good indication or a good clue to let your visitors know kind of what the shop is supposed to be if it's not immediately able to be determined. It looks like a bookstore slash library. People can come purchase books, read a little bit. These tables are I think it's from the Heart collection. They're just sunk down a little bit to make like little lower trays. Little reading area with some different types of couches. Notice this couch they've lined with sleeping bags to make it a little bit plushier. And over here you have a little bit of a coffee shop. Notice the sign, again, it's a big clue. Using the similar idea as they did downstairs with the snow area, but just boxing it in a little bit. Nice, comfortable. And then inside the bookshop is the what I would presume to be the comic section, comic books or graphic, what do they call it, graphic novels or something. Kitty section, so you've got a little bit of some collectibles, and then using the travel posters as like the magazine comic books. which I thought was a fun idea. Again, it's one of those ways of being able to display your entire collection with a good excuse to do so. Most of the shelves here are travel posters, and then they're using some of that arcade stuff on as little mats for the collectibles, and then just the silver tables in different sizes for. I appreciate the hosting, guys. I know I don't mention it every time I get hosted, but I do appreciate it. I like this little fountain setup. It's just some hedges, the fountain, a little bit of hover park pieces, and an arrangement of flowers. Just, maybe they couldn't think of anything else to put here or another shop to create. This is one way of kind of filling in a space while making it look nice. So over here we have a little bit of a garden shop, like buy some plants for the house. 2x4s for most of these shelves. Cylinders or domes for some of the displays. Boy, it's hard at work this morning. Okay, this one says ink, so I assume it's for people that want to come and get tattoos. So this is the waiting area. This part here, if you're wondering about that poster, that's just the calendar oversized, and they've pushed it down so you don't see the bottom of it. So this here, I know it lights up and you're thinking, oh, it's a door. It's really just the back side of the speaker, or actually I think it's the side of it, and they're using it as a faux door. They just put in a bottle handle, and it looks like a really nice little faux door. But it does light up, but that's because the speaker, you can turn it off and on. So here we have the little setup for the tattoo artists. You've got I think it's called the Exile fence post. It's the one that's got that little revolving bit. They're using that as the inking needle. Um, and they've got a little bit of medical stuff just in case an accident. This is the top of the tiki stool, I think, being used as the little seat for the tattooer. And then the tattooee sits here in this nice little cushioned chair. It's just 2 pillows with metal planks for the framework. This could easily be turned into like for someone that wants to do a hair salon. You could set it up a little differently for like a dentist's office, um, or some kind of a lounge thing for like a psychiatric, like psychiatrist's office. Tell me your life story, that kind of thing. This can easily be turned into some beachside loungers or at the swimming pool, that kind of deal. I see this could be used in a lot of ways. Shorten it up and just be like a little, um, all those little folding chairs that you see at like tailgate parties at a football game or something. Let's see, what is this? Some of this is like those streamers, a couple of them. All of these panels, those are from the Red Moon. I think it's the Red Moon decor pack from the shop. So this looks to be like a bar lounge area. So you've got a little bit of poker game going on here. You can see a lot of the Red Moon stuff, some of this Arctera stuff as well, Soul Frost bits. I got the little Soul Frost goo in the middle of the rotating Red Moon bar. Lots of sparking wires, even some technophage bits. This here, I guess this is presumably the dance floor area, and they've got one of those, or a couple of those, call it holographic projectors, the long ones. Over here, they've got some little private booths for people to come and grab a drink with a friend. Again, it's the Soul Frost Wells for the dividers of the booths, two pillows for the seating, and then that blue light lounge table. For this little part, that's those neon beer signs to give it some, looks like fluorescent lighting kind of thing, even though I don't think they actually give off any lighting. More booths here. These are the pressure dividers with the benches. Notice this underside is travel posters, make it like a bit of a floor thickness. And this is presumably the head honcho's office space. Got his own little private bar and everything. Maybe it's the VIP room for all I know, but it looks like the head honcho's place because he's got his desk in. Again, travel posters, like for some of this walling. They've got multiples to kind of thicken it up. Okay, next one is the magic shop. See the magic sign there. This is where you get a lot of your odd and end collectibles and little voodoo trinkets and books about, I don't know, sorcery or something. Notice the little vault. That's just the ornate cabinet sunk into the wall there. Notice they are able to get those travel posters here and there. We see it in a lot of different places. That's one of those eye splotches. This here is one of those, oh, it's that weird column thing. I don't know what it's called exactly. On a column. Notice the flooring here. They got different types of rugs, including the tribal mat and the rolled version. This little arrangement here, that's bones on top of the Oran tree table that's been sunk down inside either a dome or cylinder, one of those. Hell obelisk. Thank you, Faye. You're so good at remembering those. Hell obelisk is that funky thing up there. Notice the little ceiling bit. I think that's the top of the Oran tent. One of those. You're wondering about the difference between these. These are the filled ones of the trophy cabin. These are the empty ones, and they filled in a few things themselves. Some shrunk down hatchery bits and all that kind of stuff. Next, it looks like armory. Got the sword here, so yep, a lot of wares, weapons, explosives, and types of gear on display. And I guess that's it. Or is there another upstairs? I think that might be it. Yeah, a lot of detail as far as, I mean, considering all the pieces being used to make the structure itself, plus all the little added details for the different kinds of shops. I think they did a fantastic job in getting as much as they did into it. I know with mine, I'm pretty much capped with mine, and it still feels empty to me. So I think they did a great job of spreading it out, but making it look very uh, full and lively. I even like the arrangement as far as how they've organized the different areas. good variety as well, as far as differences between the shops, and clearly defined is another thing. Okay, so that was, get the name right, Aurora Stormfall's Super Sky Mall of Nexus. So the last house for today